alaikum. Welcome to 9 p.m. English News Edition, The Highlands. A ceremony was of the event. Israeli strike in Gaza, Hamas relative in the Middle East. Those the Highlands and welcome to the national news. It is a day to mark with a white stone the President of the Republic of Djibouti, His Excellency Anglais, who was sworn at his place of the Presidency of the Republic. Before the start of the ceremony, President Ismail Anglais received his counterpart in term, the President Guinea Concoria Alpha Gandhi, President of Kenya Uhuru Kenyatta, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, Somalian President Musa Bihi, Somalian President Musa Bihi, Somalian Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Roble, and several delegations from Pakistan, Comoros, Uganda, South Sudan, and finally the Democratic Republic of Congo. After the reception, the Prince of the Republic, His Excellency Anglais, accompanied by inviting officials, left the place of the Presidency of the Republic to a large tent specially arranged for this event. A tent access to a large tent decorated in a way illustrating the conviviality and simplicity of the event. When inside, the President of the Republic received a hearty ovation. A true solemn moment on surety in any democratic ritual. This ceremony was the epilogue, in other words, a true constitutional coronation to the re-election of the President of the Republic following his victory in the election of April 9, 2021. Members of the Djibouti government and parliament, as well as many civil, military, and religious dignitaries, also attend this event. In addition to the officials, some 400 people took part in this ceremony, always under a strict health protocol. All masked, they were required to scrupulously complete with health instruction. On the program of this sample day, folk songs were honored.
سيدي قلب حي وقروح بدني قلنجي نفتوا وقالنتاي هذا قصة شيء الكاقي حذا قلبي قال لي قنجي بنايا
أيو كفتكو سار لنا يا براي بقولكو كحني لنا يا برا أويو شاللا شاللا يا ولي يلا شيخ باسر بينو وكا أويو شاللا شاللا يا ولي يلا شيخ باسر بينو حقو.
The President of the Constitutional Court, Mr. Abdi Ibrahim Absiye, congratulated the President of the Republic, His Excellency Regeli. Elsewhere, the President of the Constitutional Council was keen. They remind the President of the Republic legitimate the association of the Jewish people for model terms with Dini.
Un mandat pour un mandat de 5 ans conformément à l'article 7 de la Constitution. Félicitations.
Male. After this speech came, they highlighted the President of the Republic received the color of the Grand Master, acquiring the quality of Grand Master of the order followed by the ceremony of performance. The left hand placed on the Holy Quran, on the other hand, raised the President read the exclamatory formula, an act engraved in the marble of the Constitution.
Nous vous reconnaissons comme grand maître de l'ordre de la Grande Étoile de la République Djibouti.
بسم الله وعلى بركة الله.
أن أكون متمسكا بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله أن أكون متمسكا بكتاب الله ورسوله
وأن أحافظ مخلصا على النظام
على النظام
الجمهوري
الجمهوري
وأن أحترم الدستور والقانون
وأن أحترم الدستور والقانون
وأن أرعى مصالح الشعب
وأن أرعى مصالح الشعب
وحرياته رعاية كاملة
برعاية تامة
وأن أحافظ على وحدة الوطن
وأن أحافظ على وحدة الوطن
واستقلاله وسلامة أراضيه والله على ما أقول شهيد.
والله على ما أقول شهيد.
سبحان ربي.
In a speech that matched the solemnity of the event in a strong lyrical flight, President Anglais declared to pursue the achievement of the country's institution, the national interest for the nation.
Cette journée si importante pour notre nation, je tiens tout d'abord à souhaiter aux chefs d'État et de gouvernement qui nous font l'honneur et l'amitié d'être présents parmi nous. Je voudrais saluer également les chefs de délégation des pays frères, les personnalités amies de Djibouti venues nombreux malgré les contraintes sanitaires. Au nom du peuple djiboutien et en mon nom propre, je vous exprime notre profonde gratitude.
Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Mr. Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mr. President of the Constitutional Court, ladies and gentlemen, representatives of the institutions, ladies and gentlemen, representatives of the diplomatic corps, my fellow citizens, on this important day of our country, I would first like to extend a very warm welcome to the heads of state and governments who have honored us with their presence and friendship. I would also like to greet the heads of delegations from brotherly countries and the permanent friends of Djibouti who have come in great numbers despite the health constraints. On behalf of the Djiboutian people and on my own behalf, I express our deepest gratitude for these expressions of esteem and consideration which reflect the strength of our fraternal and unwavering ties. I would also like to pay tribute to the memory of our fallen brother, His Excellency Idris Deby Itunu. There is no doubt that with his passing we have not only lost a friend, but also a courageous leader who served his country until the end. Ladies and gentlemen, before God and mankind, I have just taken the oath of office to assume, in the continuity of our institutions and of my mandate, the office of President. At the onset of this new 5-year term, I would like to remind myself of what Djiboutians aspire to in their heads and minds, and for which they have renewed their trust in me: stability, civil harmony, the safeguarding of the values of our republic, and the pursuit of inclusive and accelerated development for our country. I believe that when you love your country deeply, you make a commitment. This is the conviction that led me to become involved in politics. This is the idea I have of my mission, that of being a true guarantor of the values of our republic, that of being at the side of every Djiboutian, attentive to his or her needs, and the expectations of my people in these particularly demanding times in which we live are numerous intentions. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted the global economy. Climate change is forcing a revolution in our way of life. Digitalization is disturbing communication and production. Demographic pressure is a reality for our continent. These major developments offer us as many challenges as opportunities to actively prepare for the world that lies ahead. To commit ourselves resolutely and fearlessly to the future certainly requires courage but also a great deal of wisdom. It is within ourselves that we will find the necessary resources to create the conditions for a new era.
Nous engager résolument et sans crainte vers le futur nécessite certes du courage, mais aussi beaucoup de sagesse. C'est résolument en nous que nous puiserons les ressources nécessaires pour créer les conditions d'une nouvelle donne.
Continuing his speech, President Ismail Guelleh highlighted the disunity of the Republic of Djibouti, which words they evoke the heritage of the past, the obligation of the present, and the hope of the future. Let us listen to the President with more precision.
Mesdames et messieurs, Djibouti est un grand pays, mais à la taille modeste, un carrefour entre l'Orient et l'Occident, un point de rencontre entre l'Asie, l'Afrique, le Moyen-Orient et l'Europe.
Ladies and
Nous
gentlemen,
sommes les
Djibouti is a great country, albeit modest in size, a junction between East and West, a meeting point between Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. We are the heirs of a harsh and arid but authentic land, a land that endows our men and women with strength and courage. We share with the peoples of the Horn 1,000-year-old traditions of which the history is intertwined with the beginnings of humanity. Today, Djibouti is a young republic, but one that is strong and vibrant, a dynamic republic, united by our will to play a part in this new era. We are united, we are at peace, we live in a stable country, and that is a blessing. History has taught us that peace, stability, and unity are a presquisite, a fundamental condition for any long-term economic and social development policy. History has also taught us that nothing can be taken for granted. In this respect, that tomorrow as yesterday, we must work together relentlessly to safeguard this stability, to strengthen our institutions, to make peace and coexistence sacred, to ensure that the Republic lives in harmony. We must also preserve our freedom of choice and decision, without which there is no real sovereignty. We have built long-term partnerships with major powers that have shown us friendship. We have maintained the balance of our alliance and fulfilled our security obligations in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. We are doing our part in the humanitarian aid. We will continue to invest ourselves even more in the world affairs, in the life of international institutions, to relay our message of peace and progress for all. We are an African country, we are an Arab country, and we are a Muslim country. We value our triple identity, this fruitful diversity that is the source of our vitality. We want to play an active role in the emergence and integration of our continent. We profoundly believe in bringing peoples and economics together to prevent senseless rivalries and to counter those who condemn us to divisive conflicts. For this reason, I have always supported efforts and initiatives for the rapprochement and integration of the African economies, particularly in our region. We must nurture our common commitment to development and to the culture of peace and stability. We must undertake this commitment for the sake of future generations, so that all this does not remain more wishful thinking. We must move beyond our deadly conflicts, go beyond short-term interests, and look far ahead. We must, once and for all, rid ourselves of ideas that condemn us to individualism and that seek to set us against each other. Even though our wealth is more than abundant if we chose to unite intelligently, Africa will be powerful if it is united. It will be rich if we are together. If our countries cooperate to complement each other and pursue our common vision of strong and efficient states, we are fully committed to our region, to the Horn of Africa, which should be the shared home of all the peoples who live here. We are fully committed to the process of building the continent. I am thinking in particular of the AFCFTA, which in Niamey in July 2019 was born, of the promise of a vast Africa-wide free trade area. Of this great single market of more than 1 billion people, Africa is considered to be the continent of the future. It is up to us to make this prospect a reality. We are fully committed to the consideration of our Ummah, our community of believers, to counter extremism and violence. We will display our tolerance, our just faith, our profound identity. Consequently, it was with great emotion that we are following the events affecting our Palestinian sisters and brothers. We call, as we have constantly done in the past, for a just political resolution of the conflict and for an end to the Israeli occupation, the only way to achieve a just peace.
Nous sommes enfin pleinement engagés dans la consolidation de notre Ummah, de notre communauté de croyants, pour faire face aux extrémismes et à la violence. Nous opposerons notre tolérance, notre foi juste, notre identité profonde. Nous suivons donc avec émotion les événements qui touchent nos sœurs et nos frères palestiniens. Nous appelons, comme nous l'avons toujours fait par le passé, à une juste résolution politique du conflit et à la fin de l'occupation israélienne, seul chemin vers la paix des braves.
And finally, in the last part of his speech, the President illustrated the implication and the future of the Republic of Djibouti. Its economic growth ongoing at the pace of globalization and trade.
Distingués invités, mesdames et messieurs, chers compatriotes, Djibouti est une nation modelée par le détroit de Bab el-Mandeb, un détroit par lequel transite plus d'un tiers du commerce mondial. Nous avons su nous appuyer sur cette position géographique, sur la créativité de notre peuple pour construire un projet de développement. En 20 ans, Djibouti s'est imposé comme un hub logistique et portuaire de niveau international.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear citizens, Djibouti is a nation shared by the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, to which more than a third of the world trade passes. We have been able to leverage our geographical position and the creativity of our people to pursue a development project. In the space of 20 years, Djibouti has established itself as international logistics and port hub. Today, we are the Africa leader in port infrastructures. We have enjoyed more than a decade of growth. Our GDP has increased sixfold and our per capita income has risen fivefold. In the early days of this new presidential term, our objective is to set up the pace, taking into account global shifts. We must invest in services, communications, digital technologies. We have immense potential in terms of renewable energy. Our investment must also go into industry, local production, and encouraging others to produce in Djibouti, particularly in the context of our free trade zone policy. We must encourage the emergence of these sectors that create added value for the country and jobs for the Djiboutians. There are many opportunities in the field of bunkering, shipyards, oil and gas terminal, and light industry. We can serve the entire sub-region. This is the perspective behind the major projects of the Damerjok Industrial Park and the redevelopment of the historic Djibouti city port. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and dear citizens, in 2021 and the following years, our growth is set to remain strong, one of the strongest in Africa, despite the repercussions of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, growth and emergence are not an end in and of themselves. They must first and foremost serve our fellow citizens. The aim of development is to increase incomes, invest in human capital in the social sectors, health, education, training, water, and access to electricity. The other objectives is to establish a more inclusive economy with the rebalancing of territories and more effective sharing of wealth. We have already accomplished a great deal, but we are, of course, aware of the challenge we face. Poverty and unemployment continue to be a reality as in many of our African countries. So does the need of infrastructure. I stand determined with the people of Djibouti to act to consolidate our republic, to act to free ourselves from the burden of poverty, to act for our emergence, to act for the Djibouti of tomorrow, for the young generations whose commitment is essential to the success of our collective project and who must assume their rightful place in the modern world. Ambition is our only option. Work is the only way to pursue. I am confident because I know that we can succeed together. Long live the Republic. Long live our people. Long live Africa. I thank you.
Agir pour Djibouti de demain, pour les jeunes générations qui viennent, dont l'engagement est essentiel à la réussite de notre projet collectif et qui doivent prendre toute leur place dans le monde moderne. Nous n'avons pas d'autre choix que l'ambition, pas d'autre moyen que le travail. Je suis confiant, je sais que nous pouvons réussir ensemble. Vive la République, vive nos peuples, vive l'Afrique. Je vous remercie.
And finally, the President of the Republic is Anglais reviewed several trophies. It should be noted that this ceremony of benefit invested of all the prerogative related to its statute. After the investiture ceremony, the President of the Republic, Ismail Mengele, invited his guests to a lunch at the Place of the Republic. All the delegation of the friendly and proudly countries took part in this lunch, as well as the members of the government and the high civil and military personalities. Then, after the lunch, the delegation of the friendly and brotherly countries returned to their respective countries. The delegation of Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, Kenya President Uhuru Kenyatta, and Guinea Conakry President Alpha Conde left the capital in the early afternoon after participating in the inauguration ceremony of President Mengele. They were then floated in the direction of Rtana by the delegation led by the French Secretary of State to the Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs Jean-Baptiste Lemon, by the Minister delegated in charge of African Cotton, by the Minister delegated in charge of Foreign Affairs of Qatar, Sultan bin Saad. And now moving on to the international news. In Israel, a strike on Saturday targeted and destroyed a high-rise building in Gaza City that hosted the office of the Associated Press and other media outlets. ABC President said the agency was shocked and horrified at the strike. AP Staver and other tenants safely evacuated the building after the military telephoned a warning that the strike was imminent within an hour. Three heavy missile strike the 12-story building, collapsing it in a giant cloud of dust. That's it for this edition. Thanks for your attention and very wonderful evening.